Sukuna was born an unwanted scorned child at birth, where the author confirmed Sukuna terrified people out of their minds to the point that they didn't even recognize him as human. It was so bad that he was known as the king of curses as a human before becoming a curse object. This is just like Yuji, who was born cursed due to Kenjaku's interference, but the difference was that his grandpa was around to nurture him, as this is what Yuji displayed in his childhood during chapter 265. We go through all the 4 seasons and the heartfelt memories he had created with his grandpa. Yuji basically attempted to make Sukuna realize the beauty of life by convincing him that he doesn't have to live like a curse, as he has a choice to live like a human alongside him, giving him a chance he didn't have since his birth. However, the crawfish scene did a brilliant job at displaying their difference. Sukuna states he won because his catch is bigger, but Yuji rebukes him, stating his catch is more rare, which means that value is in the eyes of the beholder. A rare fish holds more value than one that's bigger and more common. We literally see even animals like horses bonding and showing affection through instinct, but even still, Sukuna can't feel anything that a normal person would. This is why Yuji has empathy for him, because through his bad luck at birth, where although Sukuna claims to understand these emotions, overall he doesn't feel a thing. He had no one to help and was hated by society from the start, which made him become a monster in the era he was born. This isolation would have empowered his mentality in his view for sorcery, that selfishness and living like a curse is the only way to gain true Jujutsu. After all, survival of the fittest reigned true in the Heian era. As a result, during the finale of Jujutsu Kaisen, Yuji encompasses the unbreakable will of the human spirit, while Sukuna is a curse, both representing the opposite sides of the same coin. After all, being one or the other is a choice you make. For example, someone like Naoya Zenin chose to become a cursed spirit, as his hatred towards Maki and the need for revenge triumphed over his emotions to move on. Even Yuji's brother proves he's correct about Sukuna. Choso loved his brother to the fullest, but also had promised Yuki that he would not let Yuji feel lonely and would live as a human rather than a curse. In their last conversation, Choso had expressed regret for choosing to live as a cursed spirit. The brothers didn't hate humans or sorcerers, but chose an easy option by joining Mahito's cause, thereby choosing the existence of violence, just like Sukuna. Hence, when Kechizu and Iso died, Choso had to bear the burden of their deaths because he had led them into this life. This empathy made him willing to die at any moment if it helped Yuji's cause. As such, Yuji tells Sukuna that they should try one more time upon his death, living not to curse someone, but together as humans who exist alongside each other. Even if no one will accept you, I'll live with you. Now, what does this mean? Well, in this story, we see the king feel ecstasy in chapter 253 against Maki, stating the outcome of the fight will prove what is worth developing more, sorcery or the body. He put all his chips into this lifestyle, where those that identify as the strongest who challenge him, he responds to them in kind by slaughtering them without cursing them, which meant Sukuna views violence as a form of acknowledgement, claiming love is worthless. Sukuna always said he is waiting for someone to kill him. He does what he wants in life until that time comes, even informing Yorizu that losing a jujutsu fight is equivalent to death itself, and he would accept its consequences. So by prioritizing strength above all else, Sukuna gave up his humanity entirely, leaving no trace of it behind. No yearning for connection, no longing for love, and no trace of vulnerability, as he doesn't consider carrying these burdens burdens. This sets up a fascinating contrast of Sukuna with Yuji, because unlike Gojo or anyone else, he achieved something they could not. The king admits that the phenomena of connecting with a sorcerer in the heat of battle was presumed to be a side effect of curse energy, yet Yuji managed to connect with him through his domain. This was partly due to his increased understanding of the soul of those in it, to create a moment where they could explore the memories of a person that has shaped the soul, which Sukuna and Mahito, mind you, admitted is the heart. And since their soul had to coexist in one body within the innate domain, he forces Sukuna to confront his ideals. Remember, Sukuna admits that Yuji isn't just another person, even acknowledging that he can't dismiss his ideals as inconsequential, and they are really genuine. This frustrates Sukuna that he could have been living his life wrong the entire time as a curse. Even in chapter 248, he ponders why he felt disappointed killing Higuruma, as Yuji was telling him all life has value. So Sukuna felt something creeping in, that Higuruma's talent that he compared to Gojo and himself was being wasted. So while Sukuna can accept the strength of figures like Gojo, Kashima or Jogo because he sees their prowess in Jujutsu as something he himself possesses, the idea of holding onto an ideal, it's beyond comprehension. Look at it like this. Sukuna claims he never sought fulfillment from others, but that doesn't mean his existence is fulfilling. On the contrary, his habit of devouring humans and his hedonistic philosophy reveals an emptiness and a constant craving for new experiences, leaving him never satisfied with his existence. Even with Yuji's mercy, Sukuna doesn't become a good guy, nor does he beg for his life, staying true to his nature. In depth, he congratulates Yuji on his victory and calls him by his name for the first time ever, acknowledging the MC and his strength. However, Sukuna also claims that Yuji is foolish and that he should not underestimate him because he's still a curse. They fight for their beliefs until the end, but Sukuna's fear of death highlights how all creatures are equal in the face of it. Gege Akutami even refers to this in chapter 222 when Sukuna looks at his own skull and he calls it ironic. Gege is referencing Hamlet in the panel. It represents memento mori, and this Latin phrase means remember that you have to die. Sukuna's skull in this scene of him consuming it depicts the theme of the inevitability of death. But now Yuji is enlightened, no longer believing he has to kill curses but can even save them as well, telling Sukuna they can give it another try where he can live with Sukuna, ultimately being the one that taught him about love, making his death perfect. Now to enjoy more peak fiction, watch this video on your screen right now.